Hi folks, this is Vicki at patternprincess.com. Today I want to show you how to do the beginning stitches for, it's going to be a chunky, I'm still working on it, I'm actually starting a chunky infinity scarf. And even though it's really simple stitches, I wanted to show you how to work it, just a little bit about the yarn. I really love this tweed kind of a yarn. I'm using two yarn strands held together. So there's two skeins of the same yarn. This yarn is a Lion brand yarn. It is Heartland Tweed, and I'm looking for the color code. Mount Rainier Tweed is the name of this. I just thought it was a real pretty yarn. It has 200 yards to each skein, and since I want this to be a chunky yarn, I'm holding them together. I'm thinking it's going to be 4 skeins. So if you have a chunky yarn, then you would probably just need 2, which would be 400 yards total. But I'm going to be needing more than that because I'm going to hold them together. Okay, so I'm just going to start off with my slip knot on my hook. But this is just going to be very simple, very easy pattern if you're a beginner, or if you just want a quick gift for somebody, or just a nice pattern that's easy. This is a great one. You can chain any number of chains. For the sample, I'll do 10. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I forgot to tell you, I'm using a little bit larger hook. I'm using a size L hook. This is an Odyssey hook that I'm using. Forgot to tell you that. Okay, so in the 4th chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4. I should say that those 3 chains that we've skipped will count as a double crochet. So in the 4th chain from the hook, we're going to yarn over and work a double crochet. While I'm working in the top loop, you could turn it on this first round and work in that back loop. Sometimes you get a nicer look if you're going to add a border to something, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep it real simple. So I'm just working in that top loop of the chain stitch, and I'm going to work a double crochet in every single stitch across. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work this the lengthways of the scarf. You can adjust the size of your scarf by however many chain stitches you start with, and I just missed a there we go, one of the strands, and just change it by 1, either way. Just keep going. It doesn't matter. There's no multiples of anything. It's the multiples of 1. So if you can divide it by 1, you can work it. And then one more stitch here in the end. So I'm just going to do, this whole thing is like double crochets all the way through. And you can see how nice and thick and chunky that's starting to look. I'm going to pull it apart for you. So this first chain, three chains that we skipped does count as a double crochet. Now we're going to turn it. And here you can chain 2 or chain 3. It depends on how you want your stitches to look here on the end. Here's chain 2. I'm going to show you. And I'm going to go into the back loop only. Well, there we go. I just missed it. There we go. There. And I'm just going to do a couple stitches in the back loop only. And I'm going to show you how it looks with the chain 2. And then I'm going to go back and tear this out and show you how it looks with a chain 3. So that's a chain 2. Right here is the top of your chain 2. So it's not bad. And let's check and see how a chain 3 looks, because you don't want to have a big unsightly gap on the end. And if you need to, you can always do that one where you got to do a single crochet and then you single crochet again. I can show you that too. So there's chain 3, and whether we're going to work in the back loop. Let's see how this looks. And the back loop I'm using just to give a little bit more texture to this scarf. You don't have to. You can absolutely work in both of the loops. So a chain 3 would look nice as well. Because this is a chunky yarn, you cannot really differentiate that first part. It's really filling in the spaces nicely. But that's all that you do. You can either chain 2 or chain 3 at the beginning. The other single crochet one, I'm going to pull it again, that I was talking about, that you could do, is you work a chain 1 Then you go into this first stitch and you do a single crochet. Then you work into this stitch right here and do another single crochet, if I can get here, just into this front part here. And that should be about as tall as what you need for, excuse me, a double crochet. Then you would just do the back loop, double crochet all the way across. But I think when you have a nice bulky yarn like this, you don't have that unsightly gap. So I think it would be easier for me as I'm working, because it's kind of almost too bulky right there now, if you ask me. So I think what I would do is either the chain 2 or the chain 3 for this. I think that that would work just fine. So now that I've probably confused you, I'm just going to do the chain 3 for now. Chain 3. And then that's going to count as that first stitch. So then we go into the back loop of the next stitch. And then we're going to work the back loop of every single stitch across. But then our pattern repeat is going to be the same as row 2 here. That's going to be the pattern repeat. These stitches I'm going to work, I think I said to you already, the lengthways. I'm thinking I'm going to do about 125 chains. I'm going to do that and see how long it is, because I don't want it too short, but I don't want it too long either, because I'd like to have it about 8 inches wide or so. And so here we are. This is how it's going to look right now so far. And I just love these little specks of color peppered throughout. And so you're just going to continue working that pattern. We'll do our chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then our double crochet. Skip that first stitch because that counts as that. We'll skip that stitch right there. You see that when I hold it out straight? So then you know that this is the stitch you start with. And all of your stitches should line up. So if you're ever thinking, oh gosh, I'm off on my stitches, all of your stitches, if you look, this stitch is above this stitch is above this stitch. And that's kind of one of the ways as you're eyeballing your work too, even on the end. See that end? This stitch is above this stitch. This is above that one. You get nice straight edges. And you can tell, without even counting, are my stitches lining up? It's just a nice way to eyeball it. And if you have the time and you think you're off, by all means count it. But this is one that as long as I'm looking at it, I'm coming out even on the ends. I might count it every few rows just to make sure that I'm on yet. And of course you look at your rows to make sure that they're not wavy inside and out too. But here you go. This is the whole pattern. Back loop, double crochet, and the chain stitches at the beginning. The hardest part is just keeping your yarn from tangling, because you are using the 2 skeins of yarn. And there we go. This is your swatch so far. When I have the pattern done, I will have it on the website. I'm not even sure what I'm going to call it yet. I will have that information in the description below when I post this video, so that you'll be able to see how it turns out. But thanks for watching, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop. Have a wonderful day. Okay, I wanted to show you how to join the sides of the edges of this scarf right here. I've just finished making this nice scarf using that tweed yarn. I ended up using 4 skeins, 2 strands held together the whole time, and this is 12 rows long. I have not done the final measurements, but I started with 180 chains to make sure I could have it long enough. I know that it's at least 60 inches long. And I used the L size hook. I think I told you that before. So there are a couple different methods you could do to join. Make sure, first of all, if you don't want it twisted, that your scarf is laying flat, and then bring your 2 ends together. But you could do a yarn needle and then just do the whip stitch and bring your yarn through one and just bring it over the edges. You could also do a single crochet going across. I've just chosen to just do a slip stitch. This is the last part where I ended my yarn on. So I'm just going to go across the stitches and then one by one bring my yarn through and bring it through the loop on the hook. So I start here, bring it through here, and go to the other side. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to push in. Bring my yarn through and bring my yarn through. Hopefully not picking up any yarn on the way. There we go. And then we're through the loop. I'm going to make that loop just a smidge bit bigger. It's a little bit tight. So go through the yarn here and go through the yarn here. And all I'm going to do is just keep doing this till I get to the end. And at the end, I'm just going to weave in my yarn and I will have my scarf joined. And I'm just going to work just a couple more here for you so you can see how it looks on the other side. I got to see where my stitches are. That stitch is right there. And get all through all my loops. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to bring this through. And here's how it looks on this side. So just, you know, it's a little bit thicker where it's joined together, but it looks really nice. And then if you turn it over, it looks nice on this side. And I make sure that I, you know, because I've joined everything, it's going to line up really nice going across. And so I'm just going to continue doing this until I get to the end, as I said, and then I'm going to weave in my yarn ends and I will be done. So I will make sure I have the free written pattern for you on the website. Please make sure you go visit if you would like to see that part of it. And like, share, and subscribe. Take care and have a wonderful day.